bringing it back to Randy, talk about, but the labels kept the few labels that he's been on kept him even with sales that weren't through the roof.
Yeah, well, his first album sold 5,000. Okay, it was a terrific album, got a huge critical attention. Didn't sell anything, and he's got a lot of insecurity because his uncles said it's a fluke what they were doing. That his father wanted to be a composer. They said no, you go be a doctor. You've got too many family. You can't work the family.
Go to the family business.
And so he had a lot of confusion, insecurity. He inherited nature or nurture. He inherited, just as he inherited that musical side of him, the insecurity. He got insecurity and perfectionism, which made songwriting torturous. I can't do this. It's hard. It's just, anyway, so he shut down. He didn't go back to the studio for months. And Lenny Warner, his best friend and his mentor, and the person who's indispensable in his life, would go over once in a while and say, well, Lenny, come on. Says Lenny, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And so then he finally talks to him and goes back in the studio. He makes a more radio-friendly album, gets a lot of attention and reviews, and again, 5,000 sales. So he shuts down, another several months before he goes. And then he makes a live album, and it gets some attention somehow, And and the thing was, it's like that's what they hear.
I love this. I think this is such a brilliant marketing.
Well, yeah, and it was a guy named Bob Krasnow. That same year, Dylan's that Great White Wonder, is that what it's called? Great White Wonder. It was the first big
bootleg.
The first big bootleg. And it was a mystery about it. My God, we're getting these Bob Dylan songs. The record company hasn't even released them. This is incredible. So he said, let's do this live show. And then we'll release it as a bootleg. So they try to go on to that same thing. And what happened was they sent copies of this to disc jockeys and critics. This isn't meant for release, but we want to share this with you. And Rolling Stone, somebody said, what do you mean you're not releasing this? You got to release this. And so that's what they were looking for. So bowing to pressure, they put it out. And people were caught up in it in the bootleg and the reviews. It sells 50,000. And it gives them confidence for the first time. Some people, he'll get insecure again, but it gives them a bit of confidence. And he does the Sail Away album. And that was planting his flag in the thing. He had decided at that time, I want to write significant songs that mean something and tell about our country. And that's the unique vision. I mean, he is told no other songwriter I've heard, including Dylan, has spoken as directly to these times as Newman. And that's remarkable. And and after he did Sail Away, which was a song about slave trading, it was about a slave trader going to Africa and trying to convince young African men to come to the promised land of which freedom, it's great. Then he says, well, I want to write more about race. That's a big subject. And if I could read you, this is something that summarizes his writing as much as anything I say or he says. I've always gone against two things that sell 90% of the records in America. It's kind of like I came across a fork in the highway and took another road, away from how the medium had been used for 1,000 years. I don't write love songs and I don't write in the first person. It's not what interests me. The songs, this is a social commentary, the songs are about things that need to be noticed. Places like ghettos and slums that should shame everyone. It hurts to see people living like that in this rich country, where the fact that one zip code entitles you to better medical care and the wrong zip code can be a death sentence. So that's the seriousness, the darkness. He puts humor in it, but there's this dark undercurrent, and that's what drives him. And he felt after Sail Away, he felt the confidence. He writes Rednecks, which is maybe the most savage protest song ever released by a major record label. And after that, he said, okay, that was fine, but now I want to talk more about it. I want to try to understand the culture behind the races. What contributes to that? So he does this concept album, Good Old Boys, which is a masterpiece. I mean, so he, again, it's selling 200, 300,000, 400,000. It's not big. Critics are going crazy, and he's doing tours and, smaller places and like that. But it's not taking the world by fire. I mean, he would be selling, let's say the first week, his album, he might sell 20,000. James Taylor would sell 400,000 that week. Fleetwood Mac would sell up 2 million, I mean, it goes on. So he was always under sales and underappreciated by the general public. And the reason is, one main reason is radio never played these songs. All the songs I'm talking about that are his most important were either too controversial, too complex, they weren't catchy enough. The radio just ignored them. And the important thing about that was he could see after Rednecks that radio wasn't ever going to play. And so he could change. He could go back to writing songs more like You've Got a Friend in Me, which you go, really nice, pleasant songs, short, people, funny. But he was willing to sacrifice all that sales to keep doing what he wanted to do. That's really
And he